Greetings, beautiful ones. Welcome back again to Shelter in the Storm with A Course in Miracles lessons number 73. Okay, we're in chapter 5, Healing and Wholeness, and we're beginning on part 3 tonight of chapter 5, The Guide to Salvation. The way to recognize your brother is by recognizing the Holy Spirit in him. I have already said that the Holy Spirit is the bridge for the transfer of perception to knowledge, so we can use the terms as if they were related, because in his mind they are. This relationship must be in his mind because unless it were, the separation between the two ways of thinking would not be open to healing. He is part of the Holy Trinity because his mind is partly yours and also partly God's. This needs clarification, not in statement, but in experience. The Holy Spirit is the idea of healing. Being thought, the idea gains as it is shared. Being the call for God, it is also the idea of God. Since you are part of God, it is also the idea of yourself as well as of all his creations. The idea of the Holy Spirit shares the property of other ideas because it follows the laws of the universe of which it is a part. It is strengthened by being given away. It increases in you as you give it to your brother. Your brother does not have to be aware of the Holy Spirit in himself or in you for this miracle to occur. He may have dissociated the call for God, just as you have. This dissociation is healed in both of you as you become aware of the call for God in him, and thus acknowledge its being. There are two diametrically opposed ways of seeing your brother. They must both be in your mind, because you are the perceiver. They must also be in his, because you are perceiving him. See him through the Holy Spirit in his mind, and you will recognize him in yours. What you acknowledge in your brother, you are acknowledging in yourself, and what you share, you strengthen. The voice of the Holy Spirit is weak in you. That is why you must share it. It must be increased in strength before you can hear it. It is impossible to hear it in yourself while it is so weak in your mind. It is not weak in itself, but it is limited by your unwillingness to hear it. If you make the mistake of looking for the Holy Spirit in yourself alone, your thoughts will frighten you because by adopting the ego's viewpoint, you are undertaking an ego-alien journey with the ego as guide. This is bound to produce fear. Okay, let's leave our text reading there for today. And we'll move forward with lesson 73. I will there be light. Today we are considering the will you share with God. This is not the same as the ego's idle wishes, out of which darkness and nothingness arise. The will you share with God has all the power of creation in it. The ego's idle wishes are unshared, and therefore have no power at all. Its wishes are not idle in the sense that they can make a world of illusions in which your belief can be very strong, but they are idle indeed in terms of creation. They make nothing that is real. Idle wishes and grievances are partners or co-makers in picturing the world you see. The wishes of the ego gave rise to it, and the ego's need for grievances, which are necessary to maintain it, peoples it with figures that seem to attack you and fall for righteous judgment and call for righteous judgment. These figures become the middlemen the ego employs to traffic in grievances. They stand between your awareness and your brother's reality. Beholding them, you do not know your brothers or yourself. Your will is lost to you in this strange bartering, in which guilt is traded back and forth, and grievances increase with each exchange. Can such a world have been created by the will the Son of God shares with his Father? Did God create disaster for his Son? Creation is the will of both together. Would God create a world that kills himself? Today we will try once more to reach the world that is in accordance with your will. The light is in it because it does not oppose the will of God. It is not heaven, but the light of heaven shines on it. Darkness has vanished. The ego's idle wishes have been withdrawn. Yet the light that shines upon this world reflects your will, and so it must be in you that we will look for it. Your picture of the world can only mirror what is within. The source of neither light nor darkness can be found without. Grievances darken your mind, and you look out on a darkened world. Forgiveness lifts the darkness and reasserts your will, and lets you look upon a world of light. We have repeatedly emphasized that the barrier of grievances is easily passed and cannot stand between you and your salvation. The reason is very simple. Do you really want to be in hell? Do you really want to weep and suffer and die? Forget the ego's arguments, which seek to prove all this is really heaven. You know it is not so. You cannot want this for yourself. There is a point beyond which illusions cannot go. Suffering is not happiness, and it is happiness you really want. Such is your will in truth, and so salvation is your will as well. You want to succeed in what we are trying to do here. You want to succeed in what we are trying to do today. We undertake it with your blessing and your glad accord. We will succeed today if you remember that you want salvation for yourself. You want to accept God's plan because you share in it. You have no will that can really oppose it, and you do not want to do so. Salvation is for you. Above all else, you want the freedom to remember who you really are. Today, it is the ego that stands powerless before your will. Your will is free, and nothing can prevail against it. Therefore, we undertake the exercises for today in happy confidence, certain that we will find what it is your will to find, and remember what it is your will to remember. No idle wishes can detain us, nor deceive us with an illusion of strength. Today, let your will be done, and end forever the insane belief that it is hell in place of heaven that you choose. We will begin our longer practice periods with the recognition that God's plan for salvation, and only His, is wholly in accord with your will. It is not the purpose of an alien power thrust upon you unwillingly. It is the one purpose here on which you and your Father are in perfect accord. You will succeed today. The time appointed for the release of the Son of God from hell and from all idle wishes. His will is now restored to his awareness. He is willing this very day to look upon the light in him and be saved. After reminding yourself of this and determining to keep your will clearly in mind, tell yourself with gentle firmness and quiet certainty, I will there be light. Let me behold the light that reflects God's will and mine. Then let your will assert itself, joined with the power of God and united with yourself. Put the rest of the practice period under their guidance. Join with them as they lead the way. In the shorter practice periods, again with a declaration of what you really want, say, I will there be light. Darkness is not my will. This should be repeated several times an hour. It is most important, however, to apply today's idea in this form immediately you are tempted to hold a grievance of any kind. This will help you let your grievances go, instead of cherishing them and hiding them in darkness. I will there be light, lesson 73. And now, for Jesus' commentary in a year of forgiveness. I will there be light. Just writing out a contract and a picture. I accept God's plan for salvation. You are blessed beings, indeed. I am that one you know as Jesus. This is a very important lesson because you state the simple fact that you do not want to stay in the shadows anymore. You have heard this expression recently, doing shadow work. These are the parts of your consciousness, parts of your mind, that have been contaminated by fear, the idols you believe in, indoctrinations from your society, and trainings that are unloving from your religions, families, and cultures. Layers of beliefs and ideas in the mind manifest shadows. What are shadows? They are places where light cannot reach, because something solid and impenetrable comes between the light and that area. We want you to see your mind in this way. The unloving parts of you, the beliefs, create shadows that manifest in thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. They exist where the light has not come. In this way, you do not see the shadows as reality. They are not real. They are merely an absence of light, which is an absence of love. Forgiveness plays an important part in dissolving those blocks to love's awareness. It is only in those mistaken ideas and beliefs that you strengthen them and cause shadows. When you say you want the light, you give Spirit, the Holy Spirit, me, your guides and teachers, permission to show you the beliefs you hold in your mind through experience. What is going on? Many of you now find difficulties in life magnified as the shadows become shown to you. This is a time of frequency acceleration. Now, we are speaking in the year 2019. These videos will be up for a long time. We are speaking in February of 2019, and you find in your society an escalation of the revealing of shadows. It is important you do not become obsessed with the shadows, but indeed you seek the light, because the light dispels the shadows, not the focus on them. When you go outside and try to erase a shadow, what happens? Absolutely nothing. How do you get rid of a shadow? You shine a light on it, or you remove the object causing the shadow. In your society, when you see something dark, or what you might consider evil, distorted or perverted, remember it is not the problem. It is the shadow showing you a lack of love. It shows you that somewhere in your society, in your collective consciousness, that is the gathering together of all of you, there is a lack of love. Do not attack the shadow, but add love, add love, add love. Love is always the solution. First, you must understand that the projector is your mind. So do not try and erase the shadow out there. Go into the mind and remove that which is unloving through the practice of forgiveness. This demonstrates your understanding that the projection, the person, place or thing out there, is not the issue. It is the shadow, and you are the projector. Clean the lens on the projector, and the movie changes. It becomes clear. I am that one you know as Jesus, and we will see you again tomorrow. Namaste, beautiful ones. Love.